The WPH Race4eight Season 4 Awards honors those that provided fans with amazing comebacks, jaw-dropping displays of athleticism, professionalism, character, and sportsmanship. Today, among others, we announced the men's senior and women's elite matches of the year 2014-15 season. Let's begin with Nadi Alvarado versus Marco Chavez from Tucson, Arizona, 40-plus finals, then move on to the women's match of the year a little bit later on. This one was exciting because there was some friction between the two players, and it really came out midway through that match and then certainly toward the end.
You know, Dave, we talk a lot about the camaraderie on the tour. A lot of the players are very good friends. I don't think you can say that about these two finalists, Marco Chavez and Nadi Alvarado Jr. This is a very acrimonious rivalry, which is fun for the fans, and we saw that throughout this match. Nadi Alvarado had only lost to Marcos one time in their 20-year pro career. That was at the Race4eight in Houston in the previous year. Nadi started very well in this final, Dave. Led 14-10 in a one-game match to 25. He had a re-kill opportunity that would have made it 15-10, cruising into halftime. He just misses it by about an inch. And from there, Marco Chavez just completely took over. He grabbed the momentum. He started making some, like you said, jaw-dropping shots, back wall, flat rollouts, dump kills, paddle kills, just completely in control of the match at that point. And he was talking, Dave. He had the crowd involved. He had Nadi flustered. He was feeling it, and he goes on to win that match 25-16. Certainly one of the most exciting displays of handball we saw all season.
It was fun. Fans are still talking about it. I want to go back and watch it on demand. And I know you already have. And there's some really weird friction and kind of controversy and fist pumps from Marco Chavez, where it was sort of like in your face, but the play's still going on, and just, you know, kind of crazy things that you'll talk about 20 years from now. And since we're on the subject of Marco Chavez, it's my honor, and yours too, Dave, to name him as the 40-plus Player of the Year.
Well, of course, it started with that victory against Nadi Alvarado in the first senior Race4eight stop of the season in Tucson. In Houston, in the very next event, he was upset in the semifinals by Tyler Hamill. He didn't play in New York, so he was in jeopardy of not defending that senior Race4eight Player of the Year. He needed to win in Salt Lake City and for Andy Shad to not make the finals to finish the year at #1, and that's exactly what happened. Marco Chavez breezed through the bottom half of the draw as the #2 seed, defeating Dan Armijo and Dan Zimmett, and he faces Tom Sheridan in the final, who came through Chris Watkins and Andy Shad. And Dave, they had a great match there, but it was Marco Chavez holding off the 47-year-old Irish rookie 25-16 to win that Aces Players Championship and also Senior Race4eight Player of the Year. Congratulations, Marcos.
Continuing with the Match of the Year category, the best women's match, Katrina Casey versus Aisling Riley at the Players Championship in Salt Lake City. Dave, it was a lot of fun, and I think that's the reason why it deserves this nod.
Well, this was a match 2 years in the making. These two ladies have been playing for the biggest titles in women's handball since 2013, meeting in virtually every major final since then. Katrina Casey's had the edge on the women's Race4eight Tour, having never lost to Aisling Riley or never lost a match ever in the history of the tour. Katrina Casey had defeated Aisling Riley 5 consecutive times going into the All-Ireland Championships, which was just 3 weeks prior to Salt Lake City. Aisling Riley focused for that event, and she defeated Katrina pretty handily there, and you knew that it was going to be an unbelievable show when they met in Salt Lake City, and it was just that. Aisling Riley overpowering Katrina Casey, winning that first game 15-2. We've never seen Katrina Casey drop a game like that, but to her credit, Katrina Casey showed that class and the poise that she has, demonstrating that she was able to adjust to what Aisling Riley was doing. She built an 8-1 lead in that second game. She held on. Aisling Riley didn't give up. She caught all the way up to 12-13 before Katrina Casey finally evened the match at 1 game apiece. And the tiebreaker, Dave, just featured some sensational rallies. A number of 20-shot rallies. I believe it was 12 20-plus shot rallies in that third game. Most of them ending on amazing kill shots from both ladies. In the end, it was Katrina Casey claiming her second consecutive women's Race4eight Players Championship. And Dave, you could see the crowd didn't want to leave their seats even after the match. As you interviewed her at the sideline, everyone there was coming in as close as they possibly could to hear what Katrina had to say. And it was very interesting because she said, I had to make adjustments. She was playing incredibly well. I had to take the back wall away from her. And it was just a great match for both women.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting matches where the loser scores more points than the winner. And we've tracked that throughout the years. Yeah. And that's just another example of just how close these two were in that Players' Championship. And since we're on the subject of Katrina Casey, it's our honor to also name her as the Player of the Year for the second consecutive year.
Well, Katrina Casey, Dave, just started off the season completely dominating all of her opponents. She won the simple green U.S. Open in October. She goes on and wins in San Francisco. As a matter of fact, scoring 76 consecutive points starting in the semifinals of San Francisco and into the semifinals of New York, which was the next event. Throughout the season, she outscored her opponents 440 to 116. That's 3.8 to 1. She started to encounter some resistance late in the season. In the finals against Siana Nichirin, led 15 to 1, 7 to 1. Siana comes back and wins that second game, and Katrina has to really play her best in the tiebreaker to win. Same thing happened in Salt Lake City, where she dropped the first game and comes back and wins that in the tiebreaker. So Katrina Casey showed that she can do it in a number of ways. She can win 30 to 0 in the finals, and she can come back and win in tiebreakers. That's the true sign of a champion, and that's what she is. Congratulations, Katrina.
You know, Dave, it's a great sign when the first 6 awards that you pass out on an award presentation day goes to the 6 best people in the game. Katrina, you're one of them, and congratulations to you for winning the dual awards here today.